Hello and welcome to another 5-minute Bible study. I'm Carl Santos, the pastor at New City Church in Calgary. So today we're looking at Judges 1, verses 1 to 3, the very opening verses of the book of Judges. Let's read them. After the death of Joshua, the people of Israel inquired of the Lord, "Who shall go up first for us against the Canaanites to fight against them?" The Lord said, "Judah shall go up. Behold, I have given the land into his hand." And Judah said to Simeon his brother, "Come up with me into the territory allotted to me, that we may fight against the Canaanites. And I likewise will go with you into the territory allotted to you." So Simeon went with him. Now, what we find immediately here is this book is coming right on the heels of the book of Joshua. And actually, the author of Judges does a great job of telling us that. It begins with after the death of Joshua. And if you know anything about the book of Joshua, well, if you don't, go read it. If you do, good too, but here's a summary. One, it is a book of unparalleled success. Israel goes from victory to victory to victory because of God's work on their behalf and the great leadership of Joshua. Joshua specifically is singled out as this incredibly obedient leader. Okay, he, in fact, the writer of Joshua at times will put into Joshua's mouth word for word what God has ordered him. So if God says go left, then go right, then go left, it says then Joshua went left, then he went right, then he went left. He literally follows word for word God's commands. So he's unrivaled success and obedience in the history of Israel to this point. Okay, so the question is of the book of Judges. There's a few of them, but one of them is, how will Israel keep being like this? Will they keep living as obediently as Joshua had them living? And two, who will lead them? Because Joshua is dead and Moses is gone. So who's left? What's going to happen? So let's jump in and see what the answer is. So the people of Israel, after Joshua dies, they go and they inquire of the Lord. This is a good sign. Okay? So far, so good. Israel is doing what they've been trained to do. Before anything you do, ask God first. Seek his wisdom, seek his direction, and that's what they're doing. Good sign. They're still reaching out. At this point in the history of Israel, they're showing some obedience. Okay, good. Then the question they ask reveals what their biggest need is. Who shall go up for us against the Canaanites to fight against them? They need a leader. Okay? So they are asking, who's next? Joshua's gone, and you've always led through a leader. You gave us Moses, now you give us Joshua. Who's next? Okay, so they're looking for that. God's response is fascinating. The Lord said, Judah shall go up. Behold, I have given the land into his hand. First, the Lord said, God speaks. God is still speaking to Israel. Okay, that's a huge sign. It means his love, his care, his provision, his communication with Israel was not dependent on Moses or Aaron or on Joshua. He's still speaking. His commitment to Israel is covenantal, not relational just to one person. Okay, so wonderful. Good. That's a good sign. God's still speaking. Israel's still asking. Relationship is intact. And he says, go send Judah. Interesting. He tells them that your leader will not be an individual. It'll be a tribe. Okay, very interesting. Why that's going to happen, why it's happening, you're not going to know in these first verses, but it's a good question to keep in your mind as you read the book. So he tells them what to do. Send Judah. Israel's response is fascinating. Judah then turns to his brother and says, come on up with me. Okay, so the book of Joshua makes it look like all the promised land has been taken, but Judges tells us, no, there are still some mop-up expeditions. There's still some areas and pockets of resistance they had to clean up. So Judah is sent to go do this. And interesting, we just talked about how obedience was such a vital part of Joshua's tenure as leader of Israel. And now what are we being shown? That Judah, who is told to go up individually, there's no mention of Simeon, turns to his brother and says, come with me. Now, what's going on here? Is Israel obedient? Are they slowly, is that a crack in the facade of Israel's faithfulness? Or is it just a typo, or just something we don't need to pay too much attention to? Well, you should pay attention to it. I'll give you that hint. But it's true. So they have now, it looks like there's a crack in the obedience. Simeon goes with him. So the book of Judges leaves us with a bunch of questions. Not only, first of all, and I'll use white here, I guess. Israel, like what's going to become of Israel? How long will they be obedient? How long will they keep inquiring of God? Who will lead them? If it's a tribe, is that going to work? What's going to happen with the leadership of this nation? You could even add 3, how long will God listen? If they do turn from obedience, will God continue to listen to them? 4, what about the covenant? As things go sour in this book, which they will, what does that mean about the covenant? Lots of questions being asked here. How long will God listen? How long will he respond? How long will Israel be faithful? Who will lead them? What's going to become of the nation in the covenant? All these questions are answered in the book of Judges and point incredibly to Jesus and to the new covenant. And that is what's going on here in the early verses of the book of Judges.